What happens when your pilot vanishes mid-air at 23,000 feet? Passengers scream. Alarms wail. And the cockpit is chaos. But not because of enemy fire, hijacking, or weather. No. It was a simple maintenance mistake. A few bolts just a little too short. In the blink of an eye, a routine flight turned into a terrifying airborne horror show, when the captain was violently sucked out of the cockpit window, and the crew had to hold on for dear life to him. This is the unbelievable true story of British Airways Flight 5390, and the pilot who refused to die. On the morning of June 10, 1990, British Airways Flight 5390 was scheduled for a short routine hop from Birmingham, England to Malaga, Spain. The aircraft, a BAC 111 twinjet airliner. Captain Timothy Lancaster, a highly experienced and respected 42-year-old pilot, took the left seat in the cockpit. Next to him sat First Officer Alastair Aitchison, 39 years old and equally competent. Cabin crew went about their business. Passengers fastened their seatbelts. The flight took off at 8:20 a.m. Nothing unusual. No turbulence. Clear skies. But just 15 minutes into the flight, everything changed. As the plane climbed through 23,000 feet, just southwest of Oxford, disaster struck. A loud bang. A whooshing explosion. The left cockpit windscreen blew out. In an instant, Captain Lancaster was violently sucked out of his seat, ripped halfway out of the aircraft through the open window. His legs caught on the flight controls. His upper body was outside the plane, flailing against 500 miles per hour winds at sub-zero temperatures. It looked like a death sentence. In the cockpit, chaos reigned. The cockpit door slammed shut due to the sudden decompression, trapping the pilots from the rest of the crew. But a hero emerged. Cabin crew member Nigel Ogden, who had been standing nearby, lunged forward and grabbed the captain's legs, holding on to him with all his strength. "I thought he was dead," Ogden would later say. His body was bent backward, flapping in the wind. His face was purple, his eyes wide open. But Ogden did not let go. Soon, more crew members arrived. They tied the captain's legs to the cockpit seat with oxygen tubes and belts, anything they could find. He was outside the aircraft, his body pinned by the force of the wind, and they still held on. Meanwhile, First Officer Alastair Aitchison was now alone at the controls. He couldn't communicate with air traffic control at first due to the damage and noise. The oxygen masks were tangled. The autopilot disengaged. But with intense focus and incredible calm, Aitchison began descending the plane. He diverted to Southampton Airport, requesting an emergency landing. The cabin crew held on to Captain Lancaster for over 20 minutes, believing he was likely already dead. But they refused to release him, fearing his body might strike the engine or wing and cause further damage. Aitchison brought the plane down toward Southampton with incredible skill. He had never landed a BAC 111 alone under such conditions, with a broken windscreen, frozen instruments, partial cabin decompression, and chaos in the cockpit. Yet at 8:55 a.m., just 35 minutes after takeoff, Flight 5390 landed safely on the runway. All 81 passengers and 6 crew members survived. Even more astonishing, Captain Lancaster was still alive. Captain Lancaster had suffered frostbite from sub-zero air, fractures to his arms and wrists, severe bruising and shock. But incredibly he fully recovered. Months later he returned to flying. Crew member Nigel Ogden, who saved the captain's life, suffered from frostbite and PTSD, but was widely hailed as a hero. The First Officer Aitchison was awarded the Queen's Commendation for valuable service in the air. So were Ogden and the rest of the cabin crew. Their quick thinking, bravery, and teamwork saved the entire flight. So how did this even happen? The cockpit windscreen had been replaced the night before the flight, but with the wrong-sized bolts, 84 of them. Most were too short to hold the frame securely. The technician used outdated manuals, and the replacement was not checked thoroughly. The result? A catastrophic structural failure. Following the investigation, British Airways and the entire industry overhauled windscreen maintenance protocols, ensuring such a mistake could never happen again. British Airways Flight 5390 didn't just avoid disaster, it defied it. A pilot sucked out of the cockpit. Crew refusing to let go. A co-pilot landing the plane alone. And not a single life lost. This story is a testament to human courage, instinct, and professionalism under pressure. Even when everything falls apart mid-flight, sometimes the people on board refuse to give up. If this real-life story gave you goosebumps, inspired you, or amazed you, don't keep it to yourself. Airplane like this video to honor the bravery of those on board. Man Pilot, subscribe to Skyline Tragedies for more true aviation survival stories. Link, share this video with someone who thinks heroes only exist in movies. And remember, sometimes the sky tests us, but sometimes we fight back and survive.